Welcome to the Armani Talks YouTube channel. I'm your host, Armani Talks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills in order for you to level up your way with words and become much more articulate. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome aboard. Every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm dropping brand new videos on topics such as impromptu speaking, social skills, creative writing skills, how to manage your emotions like a leader, along with other topics which will help you better express your ideas. Join the tribe by hitting the subscribe button right down below, hit that bell notification, and never miss another video again. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back, and go on and drop your like for me right on below. And if you've been with me for some time, you'll notice that this video looks familiar because this is a part 2 video. A couple of months back, I released an original video called 5 Social Sins, where I list out 5 sins to avoid. For a quick little recap, if you haven't watched that, the first one is being too nice. You don't want to be nice. You want to be kind. By being kind, you're being real and you're expressing your real message in a polite way. When you're nice, you may express a real or fake message in a polite way. Avoid trying to be fake for approval. Be kind. The second social sin, which I mentioned, was excessive details. You ever met someone like that who couldn't get to the point? They're telling a story, but they're rambling for too long, hyper-targeting on every little detail, to a point where you forgot what they were talking about in the first place? Avoid. The third social sin was excessive darting eyes. Some people dart their eyes because they're nervous, but even if they're nervous, they make the other person feel as though that they're not paying attention. Even if you're nervous, gradually find a way to keep looking at this person more and more and more. View it as a muscle. Fourth is what I call irrelevant questions. You ever met someone like that who's going out of their way to converse with you, and then you aren't paying attention, and then out of nowhere, you ask a question that does not fit the context of the conversation. They're over here talking about their promotion, and you're asking them, do they like dogs or cats better? This is one of those situations where you make the other person think that either you are not paying attention or you found their topic so boring that you thought you're doing them a favor by abruptly switching topics. Avoid. And the fifth sin mentioned in the past video was to constantly keep cutting other people off. If you cut people off once in a while in an interaction, that's normal. That's expected. But if it keeps on happening, this is something that you want to watch out for because the other person most likely is noticing and they're attaching a draining feeling with you. To avoid this mishap, aim to listen more as you start to build a better understanding of how this person communicates. These are the 5 sins from the last video, so let us get started with part 2. And here's a little spoiler. If this video gets 15 likes, I'm going to drop a part 3 in the near future. If you want to stay updated, be sure you are subscribed to the channel. All right, social sin number 1. Giving too much feedback to someone who did not ask. From your mind, you care. From their mind, you're nitpicking. Because here's the thing. Some people, when you give them feedback, they're going to feel joy. Because strategic feedback is a brilliant way to add value in the social marketplace. And they're going to adjust. They're going to say exactly what you told them to do. But realize this, all people are not the same. Just because some people took your feedback doesn't mean everyone is going to take your feedback. There's going to be another group of people who at this point cannot perceive your feedback. They're at that stage in their life right now where they don't understand what you're exactly saying. And they may understand it in a couple of days to a couple of weeks, months, maybe a couple of years, but one day they will possibly understand it. Then there's another group of people who are never going to take your feedback. Either they don't trust your judgment, or they've heard what you're trying to say plenty of times and they're doing another path anyways. For this group of people, you don't want to sleep on them. Because here's the thing, ideas are cumulative in nature. This person probably went through a lot of experiences which are causing them to move this certain way. And they don't just want to explain it to every single person out there because other people did not go through the same cumulative experiences as them. So this group finds it highly irritating when you're giving them the same feedback over and over again. A safeguard for this is to avoid giving too much feedback to people who did not ask. That's social sin number 1. Social sin number 2 is a concept which I call spotlight jacking. This is when, let's say you're having a conversation with a person, you're getting in the flow, you're about to tell a story, and now you're telling the story, and this person finds a point in your story that they can relate with. So they temporarily take the spotlight off of you, they put it on themselves, and they shared the point that they resonated with. But here's the problem. They've been talking for so long that they forgot that they took the spotlight off of you. Temporary turns into permanent. Congratulations, you have just been spotlight jacked. This is a social sin. So if you're someone that's making it, be wary of it because others are noticing. Because for some people, they tell stories all the time, so they're probably not going to notice it as much. But other individuals and interactions, telling a story in a one-on-one setting or a group setting is a big deal. For them, they've probably been rehearsing the story for a long time. And you just casually taking the spotlight away and not giving it back is not good. That's not what charming people do. Charming people maximize the spotlight being on other people because the charming person knows a secret. They do the most by doing less. They sit back a lot. They just listen. And the more the spotlight is on the other person, the more they make the other person feel important, the more those positive emotions that they are feeling is being attached to the charismatic person. This is a concept that I break down in detail in my book, The Charisma King, which I am going to drop a link for in the description box right on below. Level up your charm. So that's social sin number 2, excessive spotlight jacking. Social sin number 3. This one is important. This is what I call social karma. I don't know about your religious beliefs. I don't know about your metaphysical beliefs. Nor does that matter. It helps if in the social world you believe in some form of karma, where you believe that the energy that you are putting out is one day that the energy that you are going to get back. And this helps you prevent from acting like a scumbag. I actually know this one guy who is probably one of the best speakers I know, best podcasters I know, best joker I know. Overall, he has all the moves mastered, but his character is his Achilles heel. He's known to backstab people, gossip about people. When he gets drunk, he creates all these enemies. And nowadays, all these moves that he has cannot make up for his poor character. And the world is a lot smaller than you think. Someone that you met a while back, maybe someone that you see in the near future in a different context, maybe in a different job position, or let's say you burned an unnecessary bridge for no reason. This person may know someone else that you're trying to build a relationship with. And who knows, maybe this person you're trying to build a relationship with is best friends with the person that you backstabbed in the past. So in some weird way, energy works in a non-linear fashion where it's difficult to predict. So a poor mistake to make right now is to have a bad character. That's social sin number 3. Aim to have a good character. The fourth one is something that predominantly goes for group settings, but every now and then it could happen in one-on-one settings. Avoid hyper-niched topics. I know a lot of people that are getting curious about cryptocurrency nowadays and the crypto gaming, which is a fantastic field with so much potential. But I do notice every now and then this group of people, and I wouldn't say everyone from this people, but the people from the group that I know, they love to bring it up in group settings where others are not well versed in this topic. And whenever hyper niche topics are being discussed in a group setting, what happens is only a few people are participating while the other people are waiting for the conversation to end and a more general topic to be brought up forth. See, with hyper niche topics, the person that's conducting this conversation material feels good because they are hyper energized about it. But that does not necessarily mean that others are feeling the same enthusiasm as well. A charismatic person understands that their role is not to be talking all the time. Talking is great, but what's even better is being the maestro of energy, where you are serving as the head honcho and you're finding different ways to conduct the energy among the group. If only you and one other person is talking and everyone else is silent, that means there's dead energy on these sides and there's only energy here. Your goal is to find ways to make this entire interaction light up. So be the maestro of the energy. That's social sin number 4, being too hyper niched. And the fifth one is being too disagreeable. You know, I believe this was around 2016, 2017. There were certain talks, maybe from Jordan Peterson, along with other psychologists, that were talking about the dangers of being too agreeable. Heck, I mentioned that as social sin number 1 in my last video. But there's another danger of being too disagreeable. Humans, whenever they're trying to interact with others after a long day, some people like to debate. But a lot of people are not over here trying to debate non-stop. I see groups of people every now and then that are like, if you want a good debate, you know who to contact. Which, if you're doing it every now and then, I guess it's a way to form a social bond. But other times, it could be extremely annoying. And other times, what happens is that some people have this opinion on a topic that they don't know too much about. And they just want to have an opinion for the sake of having an opinion. In the information age, learning the art of how not to have an opinion is just as powerful as having a well-versed opinion. Avoid being too agreeable, but avoid being too disagreeable. If people know that they're going to get in a debate with you every time they're interacting with you, well, guess what? They're going to stop eventually interacting with you. So these are the 5 social sins. I'm going to be dropping the timestamps in the description box and in the time bar right on here. And if you find yourself being someone who is being socially unintelligent, see which social sin is holding you back. I doubt all 10 social sins that I mentioned thus far in this series is causing you a problem, but I'm sure at least one is. And find a way to slowly edge that out of your life, and soon you will become a much better communicator. If you're looking for more practical insights like this into communication skills and how to improve your charm, be sure to join the Armani Talks free daily newsletter. In this newsletter, every single day at 7 p.m., I'm dropping brand new insights on topics such as public speaking, social skills, emotional resilience, along with other topics which you will not find on Google. Join the tribe by hitting the link in the description box right on below, or go on ArmaniTalks.com and sign up today. Thank you very much for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I will catch you on the next episode.